Ross Bolen Podcast.
You better listen.
Welcome back to the Ross Bolen Podcast, otherwise known as RBP, presented by Bolen Media. I am your host, Ross Bolen, here as always with your co-host, Chris Coulson. Christopher, how are you, sir?
Doing excellent. How you doing, Ross?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. I wanted to start our second episode of this week with a thought on something that was that occurred to me this morning.
Is she coming in or
on the morn? Not that kind of thought.
Okay.
There's a U and a G and an H in my thought. We as human beings, we have this ridiculous tendency to refuse change, even when we're unhappy and change is clearly necessary. Like, it's that simple thing you learn when you're a little kid. If you don't change what you put in, you won't get something different out, right? Like mathematics. Like, if you don't change the formula or the inputs you're plugging into the formula, you're going to get the same result. So if you're waking up every morning, same routine, same meals, same work routine, same bedtime routine, and you're facing the same misery every day, hey, maybe change something, Chief. And I'm talking to me here too as well. This is not like I'm not on a soapbox. This is something that I've struggled with my entire life as a normal human being with a penchant for procrastination in particular. Like that, a lot of the time I'll know I need to make a change and I put it off. It's like, I'll do it like, the fact that I know I need to do it is already a win. I'll do it like next week.
Sure.
And then you don't get to it next week, and then you procrastinate, and then it continues to be this miserable part of your life, and then eventually at some point you get used to it, and then you forget that you ever wanted to change it, and then it's just you. And that's the part about being a human that's really, really difficult, especially when you get into self-analysis and therapy and self-improvement, and you start to pull away the layers and discover some of these things about yourself, and then it's like, oh, God, now I have to deal with this stuff? And that can be daunting. But I'm telling you, in my experience, it becomes a billion times more daunting the more you put it off. Just like with a project, right? Or studying for a final or whatever it may be. If you wait till the very last minute, like the longer you put it off, the more stress is induced. And the shittier grade you get, the worse result you get. So for me, it's just something that I like. I would like a more constant reminder of in my life. So I wanted to just talk about it really quickly at the top of the show today, because you got to get out. If you're in a rut, you got to get out. You got to change it up, right? Move. Let's ride. It's the last few weeks of the year of the comeback. You can't hold anything back now. Chris?
Absolutely not.
You cannot.
I mean, I would say we're definitely creatures of habit. And with me, with anxiety, especially what you're saying in terms of procrastination, it becomes kind of a thing where it's like, I'm anxious about starting this, so I don't start it.
Yeah, and then you have a level of anxiety with the result. Like, will it even work?
Exactly. And so with that anxiety, then
But
that
it's just
anxiety
bullshit.
But it is just bullshit.
It's just your mind finding a way to keep you stuck.
Yeah.
Almost. Like, I know that when all human beings deal with a level of anxiety, right? For people who struggle with anxiety as a mental health ailment, that have it and need medication, or that have panic attacks or panic disorder or generalized anxiety to the point that it's debilitating, everybody with those things is familiar with the concept you just laid out, which is like, it's not even just about knowing you need change. It's then the anxiety that comes with the thought of that change, what that means, and your brain finding like, will it even work?
Yeah.
Well, what about this or that? And it's like, dude, no, you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do. You can find all the mental gymnastics you want to keep yourself from doing that shit, but it's like, it's always, for me, it's always there. Like, I know, and then there'll be moments where things click.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's why I bring this up. It's awesome when you get those moments of clarity and things click, and then suddenly you're just doing the thing that you've wanted to change and do. But man, wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to wait for those moments and you could force yourself a little bit more and be a little bit more conscious of it? And that's what I'm trying to achieve at this point. Like, I don't want to just wait for the moments where life, don't get me wrong, some things you have to wait. But it's like, that's too much to ask. You're asking too much.
Sure.
That's asking for a lot of luck to continue to have things sort of click in a way to where you then get that boost you needed that knocks you into that new place. You usually in life have to do that yourself.
Absolutely.
Or have someone there for you, with you, whatever, that helps you achieve that sort of leveling up is what I like to think of it as. But man, it is very possible to do by yourself. You just have to be conscious of it, focused on it, and it's something that I'm personally trying to do more of, so I wanted to share a little bit of that up top of today's show. But we got a great show today and a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. RBP 356 is brought to you by Birddogs, makers of the most comfortable all-purpose shorts and pants in the fucking world. You can literally wear them to do anything, anywhere, at any time. They're gym shorts and pants with the built-in silky soft inner liner that makes underwear obsolete. You can also get their pants without the inner liner if you're afraid of change and you're a coward. The pants are phenomenal, breathable, social event friendly. You could play golf in them. You could go to the office in them. They look phenomenal. You could go to a nice meal out on the town, even a wedding. Nobody's going to know. They look great. You're going to be so much more comfortable than everyone else. Nobody's going to know you're in your Birddogs pants unless they're checking the logo on your ass, which in that case you've already won. Shockingly comfortable. Feels like you're not even wearing bottoms, like you're Winnie the Pooh out in public with no pants on, just a top. They dry faster than a bathing suit. You could work out in your Birddogs, jump straight into the pool, get out, dry off in the sun, wear them to drive around in your Tesla because you have a Tesla now, then drive that Tesla back home and wash it with your Golden Retriever Elvis because you're wearing Birddogs, and bitch, you can do anything. Go to birddogs.com, enter the promo code RBP when you check out, and guess what? They'll throw in a free pair of nunchucks. Nunchucks. It's a weapon to protect your family homestead like you're a ninja fucking turtle. Nunchucks, birddogs.com, code RBP, boom. Nunchucks in your mailbox with your order, with your shorts, with your pants. Enjoy your Birddogs. You will never want to take them off. They're a safe space for all your most valuable possessions. And now your home is a safer space because you have fucking nunchucks. I genuinely keep mine next to my bed, Chris, and it's just for the reason that if anyone's ever dumb enough to break into my house, first they get a shot to the foot.
Yep.
Then I'm beating their ass with those nunchucks.
And they're bright orange.
What the fuck were you thinking? Yeah, so everyone can see them in the
the
dark.
nighttime?
You're swinging them
Yeah.
around. Neighbors are looking in the windows. By God, Ross is putting a beating on another
Kill
intruder
Bill
with his
style.
nunchucks.
Yeah, it's like Quentin Tarantino panning across your house and just like you're like moving from window to window, just exactly like that. Yeah, that's what Gary sees every morning. He sees Ross in his robe, like practicing his nunchucks.
Gary's seen weird shit, though, for real.
Has he?
Yeah, man, I'm going to tell you a story real quick since you
Okay.
brought it up. Gary, several months ago, when I was in the midst of, like, the divorce depression
Sure.
and COVID had struck and the fucking world was falling apart, and I was just like, I would wake up in the morning, like, mad depressed a lot of the time, and I
Okay.
would do the strategy that I've shared, which is I would turn up music,
Yeah.
like, real fucking loud. I mean, as loud as the Sonos will go, so at least you can hear it a couple houses down.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 8:30, 9 in the morning. It's very, very quiet in my neighborhood. Most people don't do this.
Those
these
little
things.
Sonos speakers too. They got
Man.
some. They got some oomph.
Yeah,
to
you
'em.
get like 6 of them going in a little house like mine, and you got yourself a bit of a...
good acoustics in there.
Yeah, it's like fucking Doc in the beginning of Back to the Future when Marty cranks it up all the way and it blows every window in the house out. You don't remember Back to the Future. You're a young man. What were we talking about?
Gary
Oh, so
singing
Gary came by, and this was like, it was like, you can tell how little I give a fuck by like how little clothing I have on with my robe. So if it's just like a pair of Birddogs and the robe, I'm clearly
looks
in
like
a
you're-
rough spot.
Yeah.
And I was in the living room, sitting in my chair that I like to sit in and look out the window, and I was jamming music, and I was having like a cry sesh, right? Just kind of letting it out.
Sure.
And then I was like, window's open. Like, it just kind of came upon me, and I was realizing the window's open, and I'm sitting here fucking crying, like, and it was clear, I had cry face, so it's not like this is one of those cries you could conceal somehow. And Gary just happened to be coming up to the gate, like, right when I got up to move, and so, like, the robe had kind of swung open. And so if you're Gary on the outside looking in, it's just a grown man, a 6'2" white man in little Birddog shorts with a very multicolored robe on that is open.
Yes.
And I'm a hairy dude, and I'm just crying and like red-faced and like tears down my face. And we just like locked eyes, me and Gary was just like, well, there's that guy. Now I know who gets this mail.
That was the time that it was pouring down rain outside, and he put his hand on the window, and then you put your hand on the window.
Yeah, next thing I know, we're both licking the window from opposite sides, just fucking, the schnozberries taste like schnozberries, That was a Birddogs read.
And that's why Gary had to take a 2-week hiatus, because things were getting too hot and heavy. You can't have romance with the clients.
Matt, send this to Birddogs. Now time for some announcements and shouts. Someone tried to get me to do a birthday shout-out to Hugh Janice.
Come on. We're
Man,
better than that.
Fuck y'all. And look, You got one past us, and by us, I mean Chris, and that is not happening again ever.
You read it.
I did read it.
You read it.
I did read it.
I'm done taking the blame here.
Now we do have a beloved member of our Twitch community who utilizes that name as well, which is huge.
They have a Twitter account too.
Just like Hugh Janus. Happy birthday to Hugh Janus. We'll be live on Twitch again tonight, Tuesday night. This may be Wednesday when you're listening, but Tuesday and Thursday night this week, 7 p.m. Central Time, playing Cold War, Warzone, Apex Legends, yada yada. Chris and I have a blast on Twitch. Yesterday we switched it up and had the main cam on Chris so that you could see his gameplay the whole time, which I will just say is a substantially different style than Ron Bowler's style of gameplay.
So?
It is slightly different.
It's like if Ron's doing
cocaine.
shrooms.
If Ron did cocaine every day instead of smoking marijuana, it would look more like your screen.
I was gonna say
like a fucking twitchy, jumpy, sweaty murderer.
I was gonna say if you were on shrooms, I'm like on meth.
That's what it is like when you're watching your screen instead of mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/BossRolling. Come through. Cold War's awesome. Warzone's awesome. Chris and I are awesome. The members of the RBP gang that we get to play with are awesome. Our Discord community is awesome. It's all hashtag awesome.
Hey,
if you want to, what's up?
Aim assist in Cold War is not awesome, but we can continue.
Whatever. If you want to watch our show instead of listen, go to youtube.com/Bolen Media. And to be clear, you can also listen when you watch. There's sound on the
Yeah, I feel like people get confused about that
cameras.
sometimes. They think if they're watching, they
So
can
I have to
only
read
see
lips?
us. Yeah.
Is that, is there subtitles? No, you can watch and listen. There
You
are
can
no
hear.
subtitles. We should look into getting subtitles.
There's auto-generated subtitles, which I'm sure can actually present some pretty entertaining circumstances from time to time.
I'm sure it does. It will definitely today, as I'm going to have to attempt to read French words in our first segment, which is coming now. First segment.
Josh Campbell, Corporal, United States Marine Corps.
Second Lieutenant Jackson Howard, U.S. Army.
This is EO2 Elsesser from the U.S. Navy.
Mary Jo Milestrip, Lieutenant Commander, U.S. Coast Guard.
David Fleur, Surface Warfare Officer, U.S. Navy.
United States Marine Corps.
This is retired Brigadier General Guy Walsh, former commander of the 175th Wing, Maryland Air National Guard, and commander of the 451st Air Expeditionary Wing, Kandahar, Afghanistan.
Air Force Second Lieutenant John Hayden, Sergeant Lee, U.S. Army. Katie Green Assist, United States Navy.
Lieutenant J.G. Eleanor Streeter.
Dan Evans, Army Captain. Specialist Benson.
And this is Ross Bolen's badass vet you haven't heard of.
Gang gang.
That's the first time we've ever gotten to use our new theme from Sam O'Hare, the beloved in-house musician of the Ross Bolen Podcast. And by in-house, I mean we've never met IRL, but he's awesome and did our opening theme for the entire show, as well as our badass vet you haven't heard of. He collected a bunch of these different veterans, members of the RBP gang that are active military or veterans, and I think he said something like 8 of the 10 or something like that are from our show, from listeners that actually sent in stuff, and then I think he found 2 more.
Oh, gotcha.
Not sure which ones are which. But shouts to all of y'all who sent in stuff, all the vets who sent in sound bites for Sam O'Hare to use. It's very cool to hear your voices and to know you're out there, and we appreciate you, and thank you for your service.
Huge shouts.
Today's badass vet you haven't heard of is Sergeant Stubby. Sergeant Stubby was a dog
Oh, Stubbs.
and the official mascot of the 102nd Infantry Regiment in the United States. He was assigned to the 26th Division in World War I. He served for 18 months and participated in 17 battles on the Western Front. He saved his regiment from surprise mustard gas attacks, found and comforted the wounded, and allegedly once caught a German soldier by the seat of his pants, holding him there until American soldiers found him. His actions were well documented in contemporary American newspapers. You know what? Fuck it. Let's run the Animal of the Week music here, too, to double the amount of theme song respect that Sergeant Stubby gets. Just run it.
He deserves it.
And now, Ross Bolen's Animal of the Week.
It's Sergeant Stubby. He's the Animal of the Week and the badass vet you haven't heard of. Double segment.
Imagine being the German soldier that got caught by a dog, a Boston Terrier, much less.
And then literally you couldn't get him to let go of your ass
Nah.
until the Americans came and
Bro,
probably murdered you.
Like, seriously, could you not just pick him up? Like, he looks, 25 pounds, 30 pounds
Look,
tops, 40 pounds.
Stubby had spunk.
He did?
He had a lot of spunk.
He was moving. He had a sick vest. Fashion sense-wise, bro, he was iced out on the field.
He was
Also, let me just say, if I'm dying of mustard gas in World War I and a little dog comes up and hops in my lap, I'm going out happy.
Yeah, what's that called? A comfort pet? What are those pets called? Anyway, he was a
emotional support
dog. He was a Boston Terrier or American Bull Terrier mutt. He was found wandering the grounds of Yale University campus in New Haven, Connecticut in July of 1917, was Stubby.
Educated dog.
While members of the 102nd Infantry were training. He hung around as the men drilled, and one soldier in particular, Corporal James Robert Conroy, who passed away the year I was born in 1987, actually, developed a fondness for Stubby, and when it came time for the outfit to ship out, Conroy hid Stubby on board the troop ship, just grabbed Stubby up and said, Stubby, you no longer live here on the nice campus of the University of Yale University, rather. We're going to go ahead and take you off to war, Stubbs.
That's a little kind of questionably fucked up.
Hey, hop in. We're going to war. And Stubby was like, all right, you got treats?
And he was like, man,
He's
yeah.
like, we got 2 treats left. Coming in? Stubby was like, I'm in. So he's there, and then they're off to France. Literally. They went to France. And he had Stubby in his overcoat without detection. So Stubby was clearly small, but these guys had big-ass overcoats. You've seen the war movies. Stubby served...
Trench coats in the trenches.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was then discovered by the commanding officer.
Oh, no.
So I'm sure the guy was like, hey, Conroy? Did you bring a dog to France for the war?
And Conroy was like, what?
He's like, shit, man. Have you met Stubby, though? He's dope. Like, this guy had to have been so pissed. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
And
But it
then
must not have
Stubby-
taken that much convincing.
Stubby, like, comes, like, bouncing out of the back. He's like, and then, like, 2 more treats from the general. And then they get him this sick-ass uniform. That's where I was
You know
hoping. I
why
was
he
like,
stayed?
Okay,
You know why he was allowed to stay?
because they knew they could ice him the fuck out?
No, because he literally saluted the officer when he entered, as he was trained to do in camp.
He walked out on 2 legs.
Which has to look a little bit like the Heil Hitler. Dogs can't really salute all the way, right?
Well,
so I'm assuming it was a paw thing.
Their elbow doesn't really, they can't really bend that way
Yeah.
at all, you know?
Yeah, unless he
Yeah.
was like a double-jointed weird dog. But
I
like,
mean, I think it was like the thought that counts.
it is
type
the
of
thought
thing.
that counts for
Yeah.
sure. That's what's important here. So
And
don't
him
nobody try
being-
to frame Stubby up as a Nazi or use cancel culture on Stubby, because that's not going to fly here.
No, we will take no Stubby slander on this podcast.
Also, don't use it on me, as I'm pretty sure I just did the Nazi salute on the video a couple times in an attempt to show what it would look like if Stubby tried to do it.
If he did,
If he
with
did,
his
theoretically,
elbows,
hypothetically, that was a...
when he walked out on his 2 legs to meet
Yeah.
the Major General.
Yeah, like I see how it could be bad if you cut just that clip of me doing that and made that like a
Or-
GIF. That would be
or-
shitty. Don't do that.
To be fair, it would be just as bad to cut just that clip of Stubby doing it.
Fair. And neither of us deserves that.
No.
Neither of us.
Just
So
to be very clear there.
he ended up serving with the 102nd Infantry Regiment in the trenches in France for 18 months and participated in 4 offensives, and 17 battles. Entered combat on February 5th, 1918 at Chemin de Dadin, north of Saisons, and was under constant fire day and night for over a month. In April 1918, during a raid to take Chechepre, Stubby was wounded in the foreleg by retreating Germans throwing hand grenades.
Yo, what a bunch of bitches.
Now I'm just imagining this dog like running through a battlefield and like 9 Germans chasing him, like 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, and they're all just throwing grenades at
9
Stubby.
Germans screaming 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Stubby, dude. He was like bobbing and weaving as there's just fucking nades going off everywhere.
Who
Also,
throws a
like,
hand grenade at a dog?
right? And also, like, as a dog, like, you're at so much more of a disadvantage when it comes to hand grenades. Like, you
Yeah.
have nowhere to go. Your
Yeah, you
face is right there. Like, our heads are, like, up here. You know, we take a hand grenade to the leg. That shit's gonna suck. And we might lose. I mean, you don't have any
Yeah,
calves
frankly,
already, but, like, you
I don't
really have
understand
anything
how he
to
was
lose down there.
How was he wounded? Yeah, surely cannon fire. It takes much less than cannon. A small breeze will take one of my legs out. So cannon fire is something I'm not, or grenades. I'm not looking for that to be a thing that
Did
I
he
have
get
to
a
go
Purple
through.
Heart for this?
We're about to find out.
Okay.
So he was sent to the rear for convalescence, and as he had done on the front, he improved morale.
Is that really what they fucking called it in World War I? They had no more imaginative names in the front and the rear?
I mean, frankly, as a soldier, I would have appreciated that. Like, the simplicity of it. I fucking hate being on a ship when somebody's like, tend to the bow. And I'm like, what? That's literally never happened.
Hey,
no
I'll
one has
help you
ever
out
asked
here.
me to tend to any piece of a ship.
I'll help you out here. Port is left.
Port.
They both have four.
Starboard.
They both have 4 letters.
This is never going to be a thing that sticks in
Port
my memory,
left
though.
4 letters. It's easy. You got it.
Yeah,
You'll
but I
never
learned
forget it
this
again.
like at 17 different points through my life. If it hasn't stuck now, you can't teach an old dog
Well,
new
has
tricks.
anybody ever told you that port has 4 letters?
I'm not Stubby. Port having 4 letters, just like left has 4 letters, and
Yeah.
that's all you need to remember.
That's
We're
all you
good.
need to
Boom.
remember.
Starboard's the other side,
Starboard's right.
and all I need to know is where the poop deck is.
The poop deck is where you're standing, brother.
In his first year of battle, Stubby was injured by mustard gas. After he recovered, he returned with a specially designed mask to protect him. A gas mask for a dog.
Laramie Tunzel.
First question, why didn't they just hook Stubby up with a gas mask to get from the get-go? Like, were they like, no, we're not putting a muzzle on our boy, fuck that, he'll be fine? And then they were like, wait, it turns out mustard gas hurts dogs too, we need to get him a mask? Like, come on, man.
No, it was anti-constitutional to put a mask on him.
On a dog. That's what they didn't want to violate, his
First Amendment rights.
First Amendment dog rights by making him wear a mask. In his first year of battle, Stubby was, oh wait, we already read that. So what he was doing is warning his unit of poison gas attacks. So I guess he would like run out with the mask and be like, yep, the gas is poison, then run back and bark. And they'd be like, thanks, Stubby.
So I think, well, I'm assuming it was.
What is that? Like,
see, I don't really know.
And they're like, what is it, boy? Where are the Germans?
It's like, is there somebody in a well? Oh, no, we're getting gassed again? Oh, no, you just want some treats? I don't know, Stubby. Please tell me.
How is he communicating? He's just
He's
it's
like
like
that.
a
Have you ever
Lassie
seen that-
situation
have
or
you
an
seen
old
that
Yeller
dog?
situation.
Have you seen that dog on TikTok that has the message board that he puts his paws on? And
You
he
know
can
I
talk?
haven't seen the dog on TikTok who puts his... I'm not on TikTok, Christopher.
Okay,
the
well, I
only
didn't
things
know
I get to see on TikTok are what you send me. So if you don't send it to me, I don't get to see it,
well,
which means it's your fault that I haven't enjoyed this dog on TikTok.
Not only is it my fault about Mike Oxmall, he'll never let that go. It's also my fault that you're not cultured on TikTok. I don't know what else
Oxmall.
I can do.
Like Oxmall's a real name. At least, what was the one today?
It was OXMAL. I mean, what the fuck was I supposed to think? I didn't want to be...
Hugh Janice looks like a real name.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, it kind of does. Hugh's a real name and Janice is a real name. It's just not spelled J-A-N-U-S.
Mike, M-I-K-E space O-X-M-A-L
M-A-L.
is not...
Oxmall is a weird last name. Just saying. Stubby would have caught that. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Stubby would have caught that. So after returning
Well,
home...
maybe you should have hired Stubby.
That's he's dead. I would have. He was at the top of my list. Stubby became a celebrity, and marched in and normally led parades around the country. He met Presidents Woodrow Wilson, Calvin Coolidge, and Warren G. Harding. Which I have to throw it out there. I think that's got to be the lamest 3 presidents that any dog or human has ever had the honor of meeting 3. Like, meeting 3 presidents is a crazy big deal. And if you got Woodrow Wilson, Calvin Coolidge, and Warren G. Harding, that almost counts as, like,
Was Woodrow Wilson the one that
meeting
screened...
one good president.
Was he the one that screened Birth of a Nation in the White House? Yeah, he was. Yeah. He's definitely not the one that I would want to have lunch with.
Yeah, so they introduced Stubby to his racist ass. And then Calvin Coolidge, which nobody remembers these guys. Warren G. Harding.
What did
like
he even
the
do?
least memorable 2 presidents we've ever had. One
I didn't
of them
even know we
certainly had a mustache, if I had to guess. Mustachioed presidents never
mustache.
remembered.
No mustache on
serious?
Harding. He was a barefaced man. He actually looks kind of like an egg. He looks like an egg if you drew eyebrows onto an egg with a Sharpie.
Calvin Coolidge kind of looks like an egg, too.
I think that was just like one of those things. You just kind of had to have that kind of vibe.
Warren
I think
G.
capitalists of that
Harding.
time just all looked like eggs. They were just like round people.
This just white people look like eggs a lot, I think. But really, look at Calvin Coolidge. He looks even more like an egg than Woodrow Wilson. He looks like a young egg.
He's a teen egg?
Like an egg that hasn't spent too much time in the sun
wow.
yet. That's an egg. That guy's just an egg with things painted on his face, like an Easter egg.
Why is there a picture of him right next to Trump, like 4 pictures down? What are they doing?
I
at the
saw
same-
that,
If
and
they're
I
comparable,
wasn't
then
going to
maybe-
click.
Yeah.
I didn't want to know. I
don't-
really just don't want to know.
Yeah, poor. Well, that's if there's one bad thing about Stubby, he did maybe get slighted on the president's side of things.
Yeah,
just
he
like
caught
the,
3 rough presidents. Weird. I'll just say, not the 3 I'd pick if I got to meet 3, okay? That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. No disrespect to any of these dudes I know almost nothing about, except probably their worst features.
Yeah, it's like the LSU football team. You know, they won the Super Bowl or the national championship, and then they had to go like eat McDonald's at the White House with Trump or something like that.
Yeah, it's just sad. Stubby also appeared on vaudeville stages owned by Sylvester Z. Poli. And I don't know why that guy's name's important. I guarantee you Sylvester Z. Poli's family was like, they sent in the edit to Wikipedia, and they were like, we demand he get credit for being the owner of the vaudeville stages that Stubby appeared on. And Stubby was awarded lifetime memberships to the American Legion, which I'm not sure what that is and hope it's not a racist organization.
It's not.
And the YMCA. What is the American Legion?
It's just like an alternative to the VFW.
Okay, thank God. In 1921, General of the Army's John J. Pershing presented a gold medal from the Humane Education Society to Stubby, the subject of a famous photograph and other artistic media. During that same year, he attended Georgetown University Law Center along with Conroy and became the Georgetown Hoyas team mascot.
Which that alone is tight. Huge for Stubby.
Conroy must have been pulling an incredible amount of ass with this dog.
Yeah, honestly, like you already pick up chicks like pretty easily with a dog, like on a college campus.
Walking through the campus with this dog
that's iced out with war medals, bro.
You're getting it.
It's over. And he's masked up. The ladies love a guy that's masked up.
Listen to
these
this
days.
shit. They would also give him the football at halftime, and he would nudge the ball around the field to amuse the fans.
Oh, that's cute as hell.
They let him play football, Stubby.
That's cute as hell.
While still a student at Georgetown, Conroy was also employed as a special agent of the Bureau of Investigation, precursor to the FBI.
So the FBI, the precursor to the FBI was just the BI?
The BI. Conroy had a life there, man, and Stubby was a big part of it. Stubby died in his sleep March 1926. After his death, he was preserved with his skin mounted on a plaster cast.
They kept him?
They kept Stubby?
No, wait, no.
Oh, my God. Conroy later presented Stubby to the Smithsonian in 1956.
What? No. Stubby deserved like a soldier's burial.
Chris, the rest of the show is canceled. We're going to see Stubby at the Smithsonian. Now we just have to find out which Smithsonian. I'm guessing it's the one in D.C., which I've been to. Have I seen Stubby? It's entirely possible. There's a lot of weird shit in there, man.
Well, there's like lots of...
Here's an example of the weird shit you'll see in the Smithsonian in D.C.
The Smithsonian's like it's like there's one Smithsonian, and then there's like the Smithsonian Network, which like is all the other little
Smithsonian
places.
is in D.C. though, and
Yes.
then all the other ones are like the shitty ones in all the other big cities. They're not shitty. Some of them are very
Well,
nice.
like I think like the Air and Space Museum is technically part of the Smithsonian, as well as like the National History Museum, and like all those things are like the Smithsonian
Institute of whatever
system.
Now that
But
I'm thinking about it, I don't think I was in the Smithsonian when I saw this. I think it was the Museum of Journalism or whatever, but it was one of the satellites that fell off one of the two towers on 9/11, and they have that shit, and it's like one of the first things you see when you walk in, and it's just wild. Museums in DC are awesome. I'm a big museum guy.
So cool.
Huge museum guy. Houston, Texas, great museums.
I'm just thinking right now.
Austin, Texas, absolute fucking black hole for museums and zoos. Our zoo is shit.
Austin's?
It's basically Tiger King out there, bro. It's just cages in a field and like 4 dudes who smoke meth.
Is this like down in like San Marcos?
No, it's literally right outside of Austin. It's the Austin Zoo.
No way.
It's in Austin, I think, technically. But it is not as bad as I'm making it out to sound. It is not run like the Tiger King Zoo, and it is not run by a flamboyantly gay man with multiple husbands who ends up in prison for attempting to hire someone to murder his arch nemesis in Florida.
That does make it a slightly different.
Yeah. I have
Tiger
been,
King.
but it's Tiger King-esque in that it's outdoors and it's not awesome.
But back to the revelation of you potentially seeing Stubby.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say, on a quick note on museums, I've never really experienced lots of museums since I started smoking weed, and I'm now realizing that is a huge mistake.
Oh, brother.
And I need
That's
to be going
what they're
to way
there
more
for.
museums. Was it you and your former co-host Micah that talked about that museum out in like Phoenix or New Mexico or something like that one time that has something to do with a wolf and is really bright and vibrant? I swear I heard it on this show.
You're saying things that are ringing bells?
I think it's like wolf,
but just not enough.
Museum.
Oh, that's not going to get you there. Oh, wow.
Arizona.
Okay.
I guarantee you this might do it. This might do it. Mia Wolf. Yeah, Mia Wolf. MEOW Wolf. And I swear Micah went there potentially or something, but I thought I heard about it on your podcast, but it's now on my bucket list because it looks fucking awesome. Yeah, Meow Wolf. M-E-O-W.
I have no idea.
Oh, you don't? Okay,
no,
maybe not.
I don't
maybe
know
not.
anything about this.
Never mind. Might be completely making that up.
To my knowledge.
But yeah, museums
but
are
that
sick.
doesn't mean that I haven't talked about it at
It's
all.
a good thing, though, that Stubby isn't in that museum because that would be very out of place. I'm still pissed about Stubby not getting a full 21-gun salute soldier's burial, though. That's a damn shame.
Well, we don't know that he didn't get that. We just don't have it notated here on Wikipedia.
Tell me, did Mad Jack Churchill get fucking stuffed and sent to the British Institute of Natural
Okay,
History?
To your point, they do say, that detail about his skin being mounted on a plaster cast, which I feel like if they've got that detail, they probably would have told us if he got the 21-gun salute, which, frankly, he deserved.
He did.
Who knows how many lives he saved from this mustard gas? Also, people he comforted as they died on the battlefield by just being there and being Stubby.
Think about the emotional distress that dog went through, seeing all of his brethren die in front of him while he was literally in their arms.
Dogs are the shit.
Yeah.
Human beings, take them or leave them. Dogs, though, solid animal there, the dog.
I would say very solid animal, the dog.
Dogs should have been given the right to vote, and we should have been given bowls to eat out of on the floor.
Like the reverse Egyptian society, where
Yes.
like we are the slaves and the dogs are our masters,
Yeah.
not cats.
Yeah.
I think cats rule.
Planet
Egypt,
of the
actually.
Apes, but with dogs.
Sure.
I haven't watched that movie in a minute. I still got a couple of those to watch because Bruce, speaking of dogs, my dog Bruce, he doesn't like the monkeys, Chris.
He doesn't like any animals. To
He
be
gets
honest.
real upset with the little monkeys in
really?
Planet of the Apes, bro, because once they're all swinging around and making those noises, and dude can't handle it. So I've got to like wait for Bruce to go on vacation so I can watch the second two because I really like that first one. And I heard they were good.
Bruce was I mean, he kind of like gives me monkey vibes in a sense. Sometimes he's got like
He makes a lot of monkey noises,
yeah,
man.
He's got like a higher pitch kind of.
Yeah, no, but he'll literally be like, and you're like, those aren't dog noises.
Yeah, it's like Bruce. You know, you're not supposed to make that noise.
Who taught you whatever that is? And sometimes, like the other day, a girlfriend came over and Bruce gets really, really excited, and I was holding him, and he started just going, and I was like, again, sir, that is not. I have never seen another dog attempt to do what you're doing right now. It's disturbing, and I wish you would stop.
Also, my second favorite thing about Bruce is he does like the ATT walker while he poops.
Dude, it's the best.
It's so great, dude.
Ass to the ground,
yes.
skirt barely like grazing the grass as he slowly does his walk.
Like if you've ever seen Star Wars, it literally looks like the exact motion of those walkers from Hoth. Those massive
like that's
walkers.
what they modeled the shit. Like
literally has
like George
to be.
Lucas had a dog that shit that way, and he was like, I want one of the things to move like that.
Yep.
And that's how that happened.
Yeah, it's comical, and he always makes eye contact too. While he's shitting, he's just staring at you.
He's staring at you to say, don't fucking look at me. I'm disgusting. Don't look at me. Don't look at this shit. This is my shit. This is my private time. You fuck. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, Bruce and Bella genuinely are some of the funniest and most entertaining dogs I've ever seen in my life.
I always feel like people think I overhype my dogs, but like
nah,
if you've
they're
met
so
my
funny,
dogs, they're
dude.
genuinely the most absurd two little canines walking the face of the earth. But that was our animal of the week and our badass vet you haven't heard of, Sergeant Stubby. Respect Sergeant Stubby.
I think the next step is definitely field trip to the Smithsonian to go pay our respects.
I'm not joking when I say this is a thing that will. If I had to put the odds at you and me seeing Sergeant Stubby in the Smithsonian in the next 5 years, I'd say there's like a 76% chance.
5 years? I'd say there's like a 90% chance.
I'm being conservative. I'm
Sure.
a pessimist. I like to keep my expectations low.
76% chance because it's Washington, D.C., 1776. It's wrapping all together.
There you go.
And
Boom.
you have the Texas hat on. You're a true patriot today,
Boom,
Ross.
Boom. Look at me. Boom. Look at me. By the way, the Q people are not allowed to have that word, patriot.
No.
That's not fair. Mel Gibson has that word. You don't get to take that and apply it to each other, Q people. Mel Gibson has that word. Sorry. Next segment. James Harden is ruining my life. Also sports. Houston Rockets franchise cornerstone James Harden, who some of you may have heard of. He's a bearded man who often is mocked and ridiculed for creating too many fouls as he plays the game of basketball. He's one of the more ingenious, creative, talented athletes I've ever seen in my life. Probably one of the top 5 greatest offensive players in the history of the game of basketball, period. And he has yet to report to training camp, which started, Chris, a few days ago.
That seems slightly problematic.
Which is a problem because, he's the number one guy on the team and has been for like 7 years now. And we don't have we lost our head coach and our general manager, so we have a new head coach, and he's a first-time head coach. And, it's probably pretty important to him that his number one player be there, but he's not there because he's in Vegas partying with Lil Baby, who is a known rapper. And if you're asking, is that Da Baby or Baby that used to be Lil Wayne's dad? No. It's Lil Baby. Lil spacebar baby. By the way, my second most listened to, third if you count the guy who makes the chakra music, but my second most listened to musician in reality, right behind another Lil Wayne, which I'm not sure what that says about me. But it's Lil Baby's birthday, Chris. It's been Lil Baby's birthday, and it turns out these fucking rappers, they do birthdays like college chicks. That shit's like a month fucking long. And if you don't bring the bag, you can get the fuck out. So we're gonna talk about the bag because there is an actual bag involved in this story as well. But the other important piece of the puzzle to remember, he's in Las Vegas at strip clubs until God knows what hour, and he's being videotaped. Now, they're obviously trying to be discreet about it. Be careful. These clubs have minimal amounts of people that they're allowed to have in, and I'm pretty sure in most of these cases they've in fact rented out the entire joint, and everyone there is there for this party.
Yeah.
If you're partying with Lil Baby and James Harden, I don't think that's a public situation. And he's violating the NBA's COVID protocols is the problem. So even when he does report to training camp, which I might add everyone else on the team is already at, including John Wall and Boogie Cousins, who are both brand new players and also respected members of the NBA community who you think would like their number one player for their team to be there and practice with them and maybe, get things started for the season since they're all learning a brand new playbook with an incredibly brand new coach.
Let me just say, you are making very valid points. I'll let you continue.
Okay, so he's in Vegas. He's partying. He's getting documented on Instagram. He has not spoken with the head coach ever. Oh, apparently. Okay, let me rephrase. Not ever.
They Snapchat.
He hasn't spoken to him in a few weeks.
Snapchat selfies.
No, I think
bro.
during the interview process they actually spoke. But they have not spoken since the man has decided he's not going to show up for training camp. Harden allegedly wants out of Houston altogether, as we found out weeks ago. His mother chimed in on Instagram to explain to a hater in a comment section that he just wants the opportunity to get a championship ring, which is funny to me because that's exactly what the Rockets have given him multiple times.
And
I've also heard the culture in Houston be described as toxic, which is interesting because the person who sets the culture is typically, your number one player.
Well,
James Harden sets the culture in Los Angeles, for example. LeBron James sets the culture in Los Angeles on the Lakers, for example. Chris Paul set the culture for the Oklahoma City Thunder last season. The guy, your number one player, sets the culture for your team, typically.
And correct me if I'm wrong here. Again, NBA is not my most followed professional sport. Mm-hmm. But on a team that is going through, let's say, a minor rebuild like the Rockets just did, bringing in 2 new notable players and getting rid of Russ and potential future with James Harden, I would say right now the culture can be whatever he wants
it
needs to be.
This is when you go rebuild the culture.
So I don't understand. That argument doesn't make any sense to me.
Here's the deal.
As an outsider, fly on the wall looking in.
I have been a huge fan of this man. His work ethic, his product on the court, the way he handles himself off the court by basically keeping his mouth shut. He never gets in trouble. He never does anything bad. The only bad thing anybody can say about Harden, and it's arguably not even a bad thing, is that he perhaps enjoys his time in the strip clubs a little bit more than you would hope. Especially when he was younger and he was doing that in his 20s, I was like, I don't give a fuck, dude. That's exactly what I'd be doing.
Sure.
Now he's like a 31-year-old man, and it's kind of like, bro, grow the fuck up. Why are you partying with 24-year-old rappers in Las Vegas?
He's getting to the point where
Lil Baby is young.
Yeah.
That's the other aspect of this that is a little bit weird, okay?
No, Lil Baby could be calling Harden Unk.
Lil Baby is 26 years old, okay?
Oh, that's not okay.
It's not that big of a difference. It's just a little it's a little weird for because Lil Baby just got super famous.
And the 26-year-old just got super famous rapper lifestyle
that's a young man's lifestyle, bro. That's an 18-year-old's partying lifestyle.
Should probably be very different than the 31-year-old established
It'd
NBA
be like,
vet.
It'd be like if when you start, like, granted, you and I have 12 years apart. These guys have, 5 years? So if you cut ours in half, but even so, it'd be like if, like, outside of work, we also did the exact same lifestyle.
Yeah.
Which would be a little weird because I'm supposed to be running a company and I'm 33 years old and I'm in a different area of life than you, right?
Yeah, and I'm like a 21-year-old that just moved to a new city.
Exactly. So these dudes having the exact same lifestyle is concerning to me, is all I'm saying, all right? And on top of that, the gift-giving situation that took place at Lil Baby's birthday party in Las Vegas was absolutely redonkulous. He gave him a Prada bag filled with honey buns, the food, and then also what I guess is referred to in the hip-hop community as a honey bun, which I didn't know, which is $100,000 in cash. And you're like, wow, that's a lot of money, and that's a crazy gift. And it is, but also remember Harden's worth like $200 million, so it's not that big of a deal for him. He makes $100K like a month, probably.
And he still
Maybe
is
more.
contemplating turning down your $50 million extension.
Yeah, money is no longer an issue for this gentleman. He has like a $200 million contract with Adidas, and I think that's on top of like what he's worth in the bank already. And he's made millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in endorsements and in contractual basketball money, which right now he's actually in violation of, and he doesn't care about that either.
Let me just say also, bringing the honey buns to the club to give as a present, power move. It's like when the girls bring chicken nuggets in their purse out to the club. You know, it's a little late night snack.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay the bar for any type of food or anything like that. You just pull out a honey bun, rip it open. That's huge.
And there's like 30 of them in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's
it
massive.
Was packed to the gills with honey buns and cash.
Let me just say, if I'm Lil Baby, that's my favorite part of the present is the honey buns at the club.
But you didn't need $100K either. Nah.
And also,
but again, $100,000 to anybody. Yeah, that's a gift, man.
Actually, you know, how much do you think even made it out of the strip club that night? Because it genuinely would not surprise me at all if none of it did.
That's a very
genuinely
good point.
None of it did.
And I sometimes wonder.
Because, like, what do? You
about
just
these strip club situations with the big money?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty positive the way that works is they're like, here's $10,000 in cash.
Yeah.
Now y'all are gonna give us $50K in ones to throw. Or whatever, so that you can have a much more insane experience in terms of what it looks like. And
100%.
And then they got different rules about what those bitches are allowed to pick up off the ground during those situations. I've read about this shit.
Okay.
Sometimes when they have these hardcore celebrities in there throwing the amount of money that they're throwing,
sure,
the owners are only letting those girls keep a %. It's fucked up. Like that whole thing. What I'm saying is, it's a show.
Wait, really?
It's not every time. I'm not saying every time a celebrity goes to the strip club and makes it rain that's the way it's working.
Well, I know in like Vegas too, the strippers are, like have legit salaries and stuff like that. Like they're paid much more.
Well,
I think they're on,
the
like,
Vegas strippers are working on and they're in Vegas.
Exactly.
Like, who knows? The point is, we have no clue how this $100K, and especially when you consider this, you also gave him a $250,000 Richard Mille watch. So.
Wait,
that's a
Harden gave him
$350,000 worth of gifts.
And let's say the Prada bag was probably another 10, 20, 30, something like that.
Let's say it's 40. Yeah, I don't fucking know. But this is an insane.
That's crazy.
Like an almost questionable amount of money.
Lil Baby's not even a Houston guy, is he?
No, but they hang together constantly in Houston.
Really?
Like, they're just... Basically, he spent the whole offseason, which was only several weeks, like driving topless Lamborghinis around Houston on I-10 with Lil Baby and like filming each other. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Interesting.
Yeah, the whole thing is just getting a little weird. Now,
my buddy go into the rap game.
My buddy Eric has a theory about this. Shouts to Eric. Y'all know Eric if you've listened to this show long enough. He was our guest on Patreon at one point. Obviously, James Harden and Russell Westbrook were both very close to Nipsey Hussle, who passed away a couple years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
I believe who was murdered out in front of, I believe, one of his shops, Marathon Shops. And it really messed those guys up. It messed up a lot of guys who were really close to him. And my buddy Eric is theorizing that essentially Harden's relationship with Lil Baby has shifted to like
what his and Nips was?
To, I want to appreciate this man while he's still here because I didn't get to with Nipsey when he was still here.
Sure.
And I get that. That makes sense. The part of this puzzle that doesn't really make sense. Oh, producer Myrriah just input that most of the time brands give people gifts to re-gift for the exposure. So like Harden didn't pay $250,000 for that watch.
Ah.
He has a relationship with the brand who gave him the watch, knowing he would gift it.
Isn't that wild that the richer you get, the less you have to pay for?
That's always been a joke. Like the more successful you get, the more you get for free. And it really, truly, when it comes to the celebrity game or like social media influencing, that is truly like
But
even
when
at
you're
our low ass
talking-
level, bro. Like I
Yeah.
get thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of free shit every year.
Yeah, but like, I've even started to get like some free stuff too, just
From
our
sponsors,
sponsors
yeah.
and stuff like that. But like, when you're talking about something that's a $250,000 watch, bro, some people don't make that
Now, but
in 10 years.
But think about
dude.
it though. Think about it though. It's just a scaled up version of the exact same thing you see everywhere else. If I know there's an influential person I can hand a T-shirt to and they're going to wear that shit, I'm giving them that fucking
yeah,
T-shirt.
no,
now,
no, no,
somebody
don't
else
get
going to
me-
have to pay for
hey.
that T-shirt because I need the money.
Don't get me wrong, I get it. Like, it
Yeah, yeah,
makes
yeah.
total sense marketing-wise, 100%.
But
it's
it's
just
the thing you never,
mind-blowing.
and it's something that's easy to forget when you see celebrities living their lives with all the
Yeah.
things they have, that not all of that stuff is
They
being
paid,
bought by them.
yeah.
Like
Like,
a
I saw
lot
Cardi-
of sponsorships and partnerships and shit, man.
Like, I saw Cardi was getting a lot of shit this week for carrying an $88K bag. I don't remember what brand it was. It might have been Prada, too, or Cartier or something like that. But she was carrying an $88K bag, and she was getting a bunch of shit for it. Because, I mean, $88K for one bag is, I mean, obviously that's a
yeah,
shit
but to
ton
Cardi,
of money.
that's like
Nothing.
me buying a nice pair of pants.
Yeah, exactly. And also, but it's back to that question, like, she probably didn't even have to pay full price for that
Right.
bag, if she had to pay for it at all.
Yeah. So it's all
Especially if she's getting photographed in it. You
it's
know what
always
I mean?
weird to exactly. So it's always weird to like pass the judgment on that because we don't fucking know. That's the
Exactly.
thing, and like that's the problem with this James Harden situation on the whole is that we don't have the slightest clue what's going on. But that is because he's choosing not to tell us. He clearly is upset. Something happened that we don't know about. I don't know if him and Russ had a falling out, or that it literally is just that he doesn't want to be in the Houston Rockets organization because he doesn't like the ownership or the management, which is weird because it's new management and like
See, that's
he
the
just
thing.
needs to explain
Yeah.
himself. And the question that comes up is, do our favorite professional athletes, do people that we are fans of, owe us an explanation? And the answer is abso-fucking-lutely not. But that is a conscious choice. It's a choice. If you want to have fans and you want to be like on that side of the game, then you better be like then you owe an explanation. But this guy's never fed it.
Okay, so this is
He's
what I was going to
never
say.
leaned into it.
Yeah.
He's never given. It's never been like that with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a behind closed doors guy. He is not Mr. Fan interaction on Twitter and Instagram and like, nah, that's not James.
See, Harden found himself in this weird spot because he kind of even without himself trying, because he was doing something so different that the people of Houston so like truly believed in and thought that they had a genuine chance of success with the small ball thing and with James coming in and really leading that franchise to potentially a national championship and an NBA final, at least an NBA Finals appearance. He kind of becomes the impromptu face of the franchise and the fan favorite.
Oh no,
without,
he's been that.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. But he never, like, I'll say, for example, let me say, like, I talk about Cam Newton a lot. Cam Newton was that, like, just because he was Cam Newton and what he did on the field, but he fueled that with everything else he did in his lifestyle and, like, with his brand and the way he presented himself.
Always
off the
on
field as
social
well.
media, always tweeting, had
Always
his own
with a smile on the face, always
language.
talking to his fans, always
Different
doing
type of dude.
outreach,
Now-
always posting
now,
social media
To
videos.
be clear, James has done a shitload of community work in Houston. He's launching a new restaurant in the city employing several hundred people. He gives millions of dollars to different organizations. He's been an incredible representative of the city. I'm saying on a fan interaction level, he doesn't really screw with that side of it. He's never liked the media, and for very good reason, which is part of the reason that narrative turned against him even harder about him being terrible at defense and awful for the game and yada yada. He just doesn't screw with any of the extracurriculars like a lot of these guys who become top 5. I mean, look, inarguably one of the top 10 most recognizable players in the NBA.
Yes.
So the guys that are top 10 in like the NFL and the NBA, baseball doesn't count. Mike Trout destroys all the rules. You know who they are. You generally know a little bit about their lives, who they're dating, who they're married to. They have endorsements. They're on our TVs and our commercials. Like Harden, he did like there's layers to this. Okay, he went and did that. He dated a Kardashian. He jumped into Hollywood lifestyle.
Wait, when did he date a Kardashian?
Like 4 years ago. He
Which one did
dated
he date?
Khloe.
Really?
What are their names? Kim, Chloe,
Kendall, and Kylie.
Kendall, Kylie.
I think that's it.
What's the tallest one?
I think that's Kendall.
No,
Kendall's like
okay.
the
What's the
super-
tallest one who's not a child?
I think that's Kendall. Kendall's like
no,
the
Kendall's a
super-
child, bro.
Kylie? I thought
Kylie's
a child too. Then it's got to be Chloe. Chloe's the one
Yeah,
that's
it's
like
Chloe,
had her
thank you.
that she's
He
dated.
dated Chloe, and it fucked his life up. He
Yeah.
said it was the worst year of his life. Literally, he played horribly.
Wait, she's the one that's
Like-
dated like Lamar Odom like 17 times, right?
No, but she's the one who dated Lamar Odom pre-Lamar Odom smoking crack in a whorehouse and almost dying.
I mean, that could.
Who, by the way, has made an incredibly impressive recovery, Lamar Odom. But yeah, so he's done that a little bit and seen the result and said he didn't like it and didn't want to do that anymore. And clearly that was a turning point in his career. But there's just a big difference between like a snuff of like, if you hate the franchise, I get it, fine. If you hate Tillman Fertitta, frankly, I sort of get that too. But like, you need to explain yourself to the people who have invested emotionally in your career. That's the thing I think you do owe people. Like, if at some point I just decide, you know what, RBP isn't it for me. If I just shut it off and walked away without saying anything, that'd be really fucked up. Because a lot of people have invested emotionally in my career and financially in my career and given me this opportunity.
And this is where
That's where I say, fuck you, James Harden.
Yep.
Because I've spent hundreds of hours on the internet defending this man just out of a love for his game, his passion, and his product. And then it didn't matter. So I feel stupid, right? Which is, I am stupid, but.
Well, this is where I was going with it. I mean, does he have an obligation to tell you? No. I mean, he
course
doesn't have
not.
to. No, it's his own
But it would
personal
be
life,
nice.
and it's a job. But at the
Yes.
same time, your career that you chose to do is a career in which you hop on a stage every single week.
You're in the public
and
eye.
Your goal is to win over the hearts and emotions of every single person watching. And when that is your career, you do in some way have an obligation to the people that have loved, supported, and fought for you, have gone out of their way like to put themselves in a vulnerable situation to fight for you. You have an obligation to them
And
to
now,
tell them what the fuck is going on.
The obvious response from athletes is like, I don't know those people anything because they've never done anything for me.
Sure.
And I get that.
I get that too.
But it really is like, if you choose the public-facing career path that involves celebrity, whether you want it or not, if it's there, and you, it's sort of like, if you want to do the whole, I'm doing this for the city of Houston, I represent all y'all, like, in which he's definitely done that shit, then you can't leave it at the door when you decide to walk. Like, we need an explanation. And we just like, I know James doesn't give a shit what I think, clearly, or what anybody thinks that's not in his inner circle. But it's a strange position to be in as a sports fan, where your number one guy, your favorite athlete, essentially reveals to you, like, reminds you, yo, you don't actually have anything to do with this, or any, like, you're just rooting for whatever.
Yeah, and
this
it's
is a
kinda
silly game. To these guys, it's their lives and their livelihood, and we're talking about, in a lot of cases, dudes who are from nothing, who are building now multi-generational wealth and managing hundreds of millions of dollars in branding and all that. I get that, man, but it's just like, throw us a bone. Like, throw us a bone and stop fucking with our emotions. Like, he's putting up Instagrams of like the I'm in trouble emoji. Like, come on, man. Like, why are you screwing with? Don't mess with my feelings, Smokey. Don't play with my emotions. What are you doing? He wants to go to Brooklyn with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, allegedly. Again, he's never said this. We're just having to hear it from, like, dude, if you want to go to Brooklyn, fucking tell us at least. Like, I get it. But say something so we know what's going on. Because now you've got John Wall and Boogie Cousins, two dudes who haven't played basketball in like a combined 4 years with injuries that a lot of people don't even come back from, sitting on their thumbs trying to figure out what's what. And we're all stuck here in the wind thinking our franchise is done. Because here's what he doesn't get. When he leaves, it's over. That's the end of an era in Houston, Texas. Not just in sports, in Houston. For the city as a whole, that's the end of an era.
Yeah.
That part of it is real.
Yes.
And because Daryl Morey's gone and
I mean, that's
coach
like
is gone, like this is it. He's the guy.
Cam Newton left, and then Ron Rivera left, and then Cam Newton left, and
It's
then
a
all of a
big
sudden
shift,
you take
yeah.
a look at our team photo of the Panthers from 2 years ago. Luke Kuechly's gone, Thomas Davis is gone, Steve Smith is gone. Everybody's fucking gone.
And then it's a whole new deal. It's like the end of it's like finishing a really, really good book. Like
Yeah.
you don't want it to end, and you know what I mean? It's like then you have to start another book.
And now but it feels weird as fuck now because like now we have new faces of the franchise that are all totally different. Like DJ Moore is now a face of the franchise. Teddy Bridgewater, I wouldn't really say he's a face, but he's up there. Christian McCaffrey is a new face of the franchise. Like it's weird going through as a sports fan these different and this is the first time I've ever gone through this. I think you
With the
probably
Panthers, yeah.
you've probably had
I've been through a few.
once or twice before, yeah. But just in my lifetime, I mean, we had the Jake Delhomme era in, but like I wasn't quite. This was like 2009, so I was like 8 years old, 9 years old at the time, 10 years old. I wasn't quite diehard sports fan like I am now, so that one really didn't affect me. Also, we were perennial trash from like 2006, 2009. Then when we finally got success with Cam Newton and that whole like it becomes like a family thing. That's the thing. You become so emotionally invested. And yes, I get that it's just like a stupid, silly sport, but this is something
that's
but
the,
it
that's
gives
the
somebody
conundrum.
hope.
That's
Like,
the conundrum. You watch every Sunday with your family. You watch on fucking holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Like I watch Harden play on Christmas Day with my family for years.
And
Like
if it gives
it's
you
not just
joy-
about basketball
Yeah.
or sports. It's about life, and it's
Yeah.
like it really is this end of an era situation
It
where
brings people together. Anything
So when
that
they
brings
end
people
like
together.
this, when they end tragically or just with a bunch of frustration, it's really shitty. And I'm wearing a sweater with Hakeem Olajuwon's face on it right now today. And Hakeem was the guy when I was a little kid, right? This was like my first Cam Newton, if you will.
Sure.
But he managed to win us back-to-back championships. It's funny, though. People forget, in 1992, before they ever won a championship, Hakeem demanded a trade. He thought he was healthy. And the Rockets didn't think he was healthy enough to play. So he said, fuck y'all, I want out. Sound familiar to you? Does it sound familiar?
Yeah.
It's the same shit that's happened with Cam Newton. It's the same shit that happens with a lot of players. But guess what? The Rockets were able to reel it in, figure it out, and then in 93, 94, 95, 95, 96, you got back-to-back championships. Wait, 93, 94, 95. Back-to-back championships. And then your franchise has changed forever. And then 30 years later, I'm wearing this fucking dude's entire face on my sweater. So, like, it's not over till it's over.
Great face, by the way.
And I would add that when Hakeem left, he didn't retire a Rocket. He went to Toronto. It was a shitty situation. Like, all you can do with your favorite athletes and really all celebrities, like your favorite actors and actors, just pray that they don't take their dick out and try to masturbate on someone, or that they don't tell everyone in the whole city to go fuck themselves on their way out the door, or that the whole thing goes up in flames. Like,
Yeah.
all you can do, and this is the same as like the don't meet your heroes thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to meet Harden anymore.
Yeah, well, it's been like the good thing is with the Panthers, so many of our bridges have been burned from mismanagement from our GM. Our GM just burns bridges. Like, that's just what he does. When he sent Steve Smith to Baltimore, like, he burned that bridge. That's just what he does. Steve didn't come back and
Is this the
step
same GM
foot.
you have now?
Nah.
Oh.
It's a different guy. But Steve didn't come back until we had a new GM. He didn't come back to even step foot in Panthers facilities.
What
Like-
you got traded?
To Baltimore, yeah. We sent him to Baltimore, and he retired a Raven, technically. And then
Oh, you mean he didn't come back to the franchise until that guy was
like he was
gone?
like fuck Carolina
After retirement.
After he retired,
Okay.
he retired as a Raven. Like he was gonna go into the Hall of Fame as a Raven.
Right.
Which was been like a huge slap in the face as a Panthers fan because Steve was like, but also like we burned that fucking.
I
bridge.
also want to tell you, like, NFL, different animal.
I'm just saying. It's nice at least in retrospect when you can have your favorite athletes like come back to be able to have that like one
Yeah,
final
but to
kinda...
your point, this doesn't happen in the NFL.
Oh, true. That's very true.
Ever.
When
All
a
your
player-
favorite guys get cut or traded or
Yeah.
fucked on because they get old fast, and it's just not the same game.
Nobody
the NFL's,
chooses to leave.
The NFL's almost always like a negative departure.
Yeah, that's
Almost
fair.
always.
That's
like
fair.
it's always because like Andre Johnson, all your best players, they think they're better than the franchise thinks they are. The fan base doesn't care. They just want them there anyway, no matter what. You end up overpaying guys like crazy. It's just a fucking nightmare.
Just like
Sports are
Christian
hell.
McCaffrey.
Sports are hell. In other sports news, I absolutely destroyed my bookie this weekend and paid the first couple months of the new Tesla car note. Kiss my ass, everyone, including James Harden. Tesla comes on December 16th, by the way, and then you're all in big trouble. Speaking of money, Tyson Roy Jones Jr. brought in $80 million in pay-per-view revenue.
hell.
That's just pay-per-view revenue. That's not counting endorsements. That's not counting sponsorships. $80 million based on the latest figures. These are two old-ass dudes fighting each other like the joke with Snoop Dogg commentating. They owe Snoop at least 20 of that. Somebody needs to pay Snoop. But that's a lot more money than I was imagining that would bring in,
that's
dude.
kind of hilarious considering half the world just streamed it on crack streams or something like that.
And they still made $80 million.
I know, exactly.
I didn't watch this shit on pay-per-view. I
Hell
watched
no.
the replays on Twitter.
Who what? Like, the only...
I know a lot of people who ordered it.
Really?
Yeah,
This
I
one?
think it's got to be bored people in their 30s.
I guess so, yeah. I'm not a big pay-per-view
bored
guy.
people in
like-
their 30s don't give a shit about
Well, once I turned
$49.99.
21, too, like, I just started, like, if I really, really want to watch a fight, which isn't that often, but if I really want to watch a fight, I either usually have a friend that's already bought it, or I just go to a bar and I watch it.
That is the way when you're younger.
Yeah.
And when you're older, it's like the power move is to buy that shit and have
And have your
everybody to your
friends
place.
over.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
$49.49 on
See,
November
that's the thing,
28th.
it's just-
1.6 million people paid, and they made in $80 million in pay-per-view.
Well, see, the last time I bought a pay-per-view fight was a fight that was back in, like, January of this year. I don't even remember what it was. Was it a McGregor fight? McGregor versus Khabib. That's what it definitely was, McGregor-Khabib, I believe. Or whoever Khabib fought at the very beginning of the year, that was a really big deal. I bought that one, and it lasted like one round and went like a minute and 16 seconds, and I paid like $45 for it, and I was like, yep, never buying pay-per-view again.
I got a worse one. You want to hear it?
Yep.
Remember Ronda Rousey?
Yes.
You remember after she got knocked out that one time?
I didn't watch it, but I remember because it was like a really big deal.
Well, I watched it, and not only did I pay for it, I skipped the entire undercard and bought it right before she went out, and then she got knocked out in like 22 seconds or whatever it was, and that was the entirety of my money. It was the funniest, dumbest thing I've ever done. I was
Wait,
just
were
like,
you
I
riding
was like,
solo?
all right, let's do this. Ronda Rousey.
Wait, were you solo dolo?
Ladies, really getting after it in the boxing ring, in the old UFC, whatever the fuck it's called. And then, like, it started, and I was like, okay. And then she just got kicked in the face and died. And I was like, oh, I thought this was like America's Sweetheart. She was on Jimmy Kimmel last week. What
She's
the fuck
on
happened
Entourage. Yeah, what?
Son
what?
of a bitch. That was
What
like,
happened to Ronda Rousey? She really after that. I think
dude,
Does she
UFC.
still-
It's the life of a.
she's still kind of hanging out there.
The life of a fighter is tough, man. You catch a couple L's and it's sort of
Because
over.
she was like, I remember on ESPN, like I remember back in like right before that fight, she was like, people
Dude,
were
she-
saying she
she-
might be able to fight men.
No.
There
She was the most famous athlete in the world for like 6 months.
Yeah,
It was insane.
it was bizarre. Like you would hear, she would be everywhere.
I think she won Athlete of the Year at the ESPYs or some shit, and then like 3 weeks later got knocked out.
And then I don't think she's had any success since.
But she's a 33-year-old. This will be a very small fraction of her fucking life when it's all said and done.
She's great in
But Ronda
Entourage,
Rousey was
though.
awesome. She just stole a bunch
Yeah,
of money
love-
from me at one point.
Love seeing her date Turtle.
So 1.6 million pay-per-view buys on Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., which if you get to the more recent development in this story, which is that Logan Paul, the gentleman who knocked out the YouTube celebrity who knocked out Nate Robinson, the former NBA athlete, and put him to sleep in front of everyone, Logan Paul is going to be fighting Floyd Mayweather, which is one of the more insane announcements I've ever heard in the history of sports. Because Floyd Mayweather is an undefeated and arguably one of the greatest athletes and one of the greatest boxers, if not the greatest boxer of all time. And Logan Paul, again, is a YouTube celebrity who gets in trouble for things like putting up dead bodies in suicide forests in Japan as content. So I don't really understand how we got here. 2020 has been a crazy year. I can't really keep up with everything that goes on. But Logan Paul apparently decided he wanted to be a boxer of some kind. He managed to get this Nate Robinson thing to happen, which clearly was incredibly lucrative to both parties. And now he's convinced Floyd Mayweather, who always needs more money because he can't stop gambling and living like a buffoon. Which was the other Paul?
That was Jake Paul that fought Nate Robinson. That wasn't Logan.
This isn't even the same Paul?
No.
This is the other Paul brother?
Yeah.
Why does he get to fight Floyd Mayweather?
I don't know. That's what begs the question.
What if you were a boxer your whole life and all you did was train for an opportunity to fight Floyd Mayweather, and then Logan Paul, who didn't even knock out Nate Robinson, got to fight him for no reason?
Well, he lost against KSI, so that was big. You know, the YouTuber KSI.
Oh, this is that guy?
This is that guy, yeah. He lost
So
by
the guy who's lost his only bout,
Against
which was
another
with
YouTuber.
a British YouTuber that I, again, hadn't heard of up until we reported on it on this
slash
show.
rapper.
Look, I don't know why we have to talk about Logan Paul. I don't know how he manages to make himself relevant enough that even I, who literally couldn't care less, that even I have to keep talking about him. But you got to give the guy this. He's very, very good at what he does.
Yeah.
He's very, very good at what he does. The Paul brothers, both of them. I don't know which one is which even now. I'm very confused. They both look sort of similar.
They do.
Is this one as large as the other one?
I would say larger. Logan's the older brother.
So here's the thing to keep in mind, folks who are like, wow, this
Also
is
more hair.
This is so wild. The famed undefeated champion of the world, Floyd Money Mayweather, fighting a YouTube guy who lost to another YouTube guy twice, I think.
Twice, yeah.
Only
one was official, but
he's lost
yeah.
twice. First thing to keep in mind, this is an exhibition. It's not an actual full-blown fight. Different type of deal, okay? Same thing as the Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. situation. It's an exhibition. It's not a full-blown bout. Mayweather just wants to make dough.
Yeah.
He's going to go out there and do his jab thing and win by decision, and the Paul brother will never land a punch on him.
Well, isn't this kind of what Mayweather does? He like gets a lot of money and then like goes broke, and
then he
does
gets a lot of
something,
money
get a lot
again,
money,
and
he goes
then now how a
broke,
Paul brother got roped into this, I don't know. But if you watch the McGregor fight, the Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fight, what you remember is people arguing like, "Yo, this was really fun, and it was cool to see Conor like get in there and throw some punches." But if Floyd had wanted to, he could have made this hell for all of us, made it incredibly boring, and just stayed back and done jabs.
even
the
then,
whole
I
time.
would say he's still, that was still one of the less exciting boxing.
I mean, it wasn't the most
matches I've
exciting
seen
boxing match ever.
recently.
Definitely not. But Floyd's never are. He
No.
doesn't throw haymakers and
No,
knock
he's a
people out.
defensive
He
boxer.
just pounds people in the face slowly but surely and over and over until eventually they lose by a decision.
But like, if you're Logan Paul, like I just want to put this in perspective as somebody that's like, I mean, somebody that's boxed for 6 months, huge former professional boxer,
Yeah,
basically. Getting hit in the face by somebody that actually knows how to throw a boxing punch, even a jab, like that's enough to throw you the fuck off if you've never taken a hit like that. Like, I don't think Logan fully understands the kind of damage that Floyd Mayweather could do with one fucking well-landing jab.
But again, I think that's calculated here.
Yeah.
I don't think that he has even any risk of that. Here's a quote from
Well, it doesn't even matter. Like, who cares? Like, this is a win-win-win for Logan. There's no downside.
Here's a quote from Dana White, the owner of UFC, obviously. I don't know if he still owns it. Did he sell it? Whatever. He founded it. Yeah, when people ask me about the state of boxing right now, that's where it's at. Didn't that kid get beat up by the fucking video game kid from England, and now he's going to fight Floyd Mayweather? End quote. Yeah, it pretty much summarizes everybody's thoughts. Like, what the hell is going on? I don't even, again, clearly I know very little. I don't even know which Paul brother this is. I'm 99.9% sure I did a Paul brother as one of my famous people I want to fight at one point. I'm not sure which one that was, if it was the Nate Robinson one or if it was the Mike or the
I think it was
Floyd
him.
Mayweather one.
I think it was the Suicide Forest thing.
That's Logan?
Yeah.
So I would note that my challenge has since gained a substantial amount of people that want it to happen, and I have gained a substantial amount of muscle mass. I weigh 160, though, so if this cat will come down to my weight or let me do steroids long enough to get to his weight, I will beat his ass with zero classical training just off straight boxing myself in a mirror for years and having the natural instincts of Keanu Reeves. So keep that in mind. I'm sure we'll be able to bet on this, and if you bet on sports and you like betting on sports or you want to bet on sports, you know where to do it. With our sports betting sponsor, MyBookie.ag, RBP 356 is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. If sports come up, MyBookie comes with them. You go to MyBookie.ag, you use the code RBP when you sign up for your deposit. They've got live betting, so if you miss kickoff of one of these NFL games or of tip-off of one of the NBA games, as the NBA is starting up in a few weeks, then it doesn't matter. MyBookie.ag has you covered. You will still get the action you crave. With their live betting, they have all kinds of props. I made all kinds of ridiculous bets on the presidential election, any type of special event that's coming up. They usually have odds on. It's a lot of fun. They will almost certainly have the Logan Paul Mayweather fight and odds on it whenever that comes up. So you go to MyBookie.ag, use the promo code RBP, and they'll match you halfway on your deposit to give you a head start on building your bankroll. If you put in $200, they'll give you an extra $100 to play with. Joining and depositing is a simple process. It's quick, but more importantly, when it's time to get paid, that's quick too. So treat yourself with some extra cash in your pocket today, this holiday season, by investing in your intuition. It's not just winter season, it's winning season at MyBookie.ag. So bet, win, and get paid with MyBookie.ag today when you use that code RBP at deposit. As I mentioned, they've got action on everything you could possibly want to bet on MyBookie. That's our sports betting sponsor, MyBookie.ag. And that will do it for today. But before you head out to take on the world, it's time for some very important announcements. First and foremost, you got 3 legal obligations you've been saddled with as a result of having listened to this entire podcast. Number 1, you must rate and review. And check that box and move on to number 2, which is to share the show with one other human being. Check that box, move on to number 3, which is to support our sponsors who support us and keep us in business. Birddogs.com. Go get yourself or someone in your life that you want to give as a Christmas present the most comfortable shorts and or pants in the entire world. Code RBP when you check out at birddogs.com. And, of course, I just mentioned MyBookie.ag, code RBP for our sports betting sponsor. Support our sponsors. Check that box, and then you've done all 3. Those are our 3 legal obligations, and you can move on with your life. I can call out the dogs. We won't have to see each other in court. We'll all live long and prosper. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Instagram at the Ross Bolen Podcast, on Twitter at Ross Bolen Pod, and you can find us on Facebook.com/Ross Bolen Podcast as well. Follow me, Ross Bolen, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at WRBOLEN on all 3, at WRBolen on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Catch Chris and I live twice, 3 times a week, sometimes on twitch.tv/BossRollin. 7 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday this week is our schedule. Twitch.tv/BossRollin. Christopher, where can everybody follow you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at Q0ULS. You can find me on Instagram at ChrisSC99. And you can find me on Snapchat at Chris_Coulson. That's COULSON.
Check out Bolen Media's television and film podcast, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, wherever you listen to the Ross Bolen Podcast. You can also watch episodes on youtube.com/Bolen Media. OCC is hosted by myself and my dear friend of 17 years, Mr. Barrett Dudley. We talk about the TV and movies that we're watching. We love TV and movies. It used to be the #1 Game of Thrones podcast in the world. After Game of Thrones ended, we rotated over to all TV and film. We're having a blast. We're loving it. We're also covering The Sopranos on OCC's Patreon right now. If you want to be a part of that, go listen to OCC, one of the last couple episodes, and you will get the full scoop. That will do it for RBP 356, produced by Myrriah, Gossett, and Moody Garcia of Permanent Record Studios in Austin, Texas. We'll be back Monday with RBP 357, but first, we will be back on Friday, just like we are every Friday, on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast with another ad-free exclusive episode for dues-paying members of the RBP gang pledging their monthly support to help keep the podcast showing and growing. It is a minimum of just $5 monthly on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. Come through, support the show. Get more RBP ad-free every Friday. You are not alone. Podmen get paid. Respect Mr. Park. Strength and honor. Gang, gang, gang. Chris.
Peace be with you.
And also with you.